we got a new report on the Kawhi Leonard and the LA Clippers situation with them reportedly, or excuse me, allegedly trying to circumvent the cap. Again, this is still under investigation, and we don't have a conclusion on as far as what really happened. So these are all hypotheticals of what could potentially happen. As far as Kawhi Leonard, his punishments could look like anything as far as the NBA voiding his contract and prohibiting him from re-signing with the Clippers. They could also require him to return the money he received from Aspiration, and they could fine up to $350,000. As far as the Clippers and their personnel, the punishments that could fall on their behalf could be that the Clippers are fined up to $7.5 million. They could potentially forfeit draft picks and suspend Ballmer and or other team personnel for up to 1 year and fine them up to $1 million each. I could care less about what happens to the organization or the owners or the GMs. That's their business. Let's talk about the juicy part that everyone wants to know. What would happen if Kawhi Leonard's contract is voided and he immediately becomes a free agent? That is something that could cause a real shakeup for the NBA, because what if Kawhi is pissed off at this whole dilemma and he says, I'm going to go sign with OKC on a minimum deal. Let's run it back. A lot of people will be pissed, especially because they just won last year. So it can get really weird in this offseason. This could be what spices up the offseason if they void his contract right before or in the process of what's going on now, and then his contract ends up getting voided and he has the option to just choose whatever team he wants to go to. That'll get really interesting, because what if he does something like go to the Lakers? Or who knows, maybe he goes to Philly, or he goes to Miami, or he teams up with Giannis in Milwaukee. Nobody knows. Or New York. Nobody knows. But it would make very interesting conversation, because wherever he goes, regardless of the fact that he's a walking broken stick, the man can still play. Because what we saw he was able to do once he came back and once he got in the rhythm of things, he's still Kawhi Leonard. I don't want to hear the injury excuses, but when he's on the court, he is still a top 10 player in the league to this day. So yes, the injuries that have piled up have been frustrating as fans, as spectators of the game. You don't want to see that, obviously. But when he's on that court, he still performs. So a lot of teams would still be willing to do whatever they could possibly do to create some cap space, to be able to sign him and give him as much as they need to give him, because he is still that impactful of a player. And if he ends up in a situation, maybe if his contract were to be voided, to a team where he doesn't necessarily have to carry a heavy load in the regular season and just turn it up come playoffs, that could be an ideal situation. Who knows? What if he goes to the Warriors on a minimum deal and lets Steph and Jimmy Butler and Draymond do what they're supposed to, and he turns it up come postseason? It can get really interesting, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think. What are your perspectives? Where would you want to see him go? These are some of the potential punishments. It is what it is.